Welcome for live session for HSE Mindset channels. Today's live questions, environmental complaints for Saudi Arabia. The environmental complaints is one of the major things. It's not very Hi. So the environmental complaints is one of the major areas what we have to concern. So today for our HSE Mindset channel, we are going to see the environmental complaints of Saudi Arabia. So the regulatory agencies, first we can see the regulatory agencies, MEWA, SHASHO, NCFC. So the MEWA means Ministry of Environmental, Water and Agriculture. Then we have SHASHO, the Saudi Standards of Metrology and Quality Organization. Then you have a Saudi Standards Metrology and Quality Organization, NCFC, National Center for Environmental Compliances. The National Standard for the Center for Environmental Compliances. Then Royal Commission for Jubail and Yanbu. So the environment part is always nowadays questionable because the companies are facing more legal issues because of the environmental non-compliances. So the compliances is always a question. Before starting the project itself, you have to take more steps for environmental compliances. So when you have a proper environmental management systems, then only you can have a proper environmental legalities. So what will be the benefit? Number one benefit, you can reduce the pollution. Number two, you can preserve the reputation of the company. When you following the environment rules and regulation, you can preserve the company's reputation, business reputation outside the world, you can preserve. Then you can have a sustainable growth. For your industry, you have a sustainable growth of not spoiling the environment. So that is the positive point from the environmental compliances. So for the Saudi, there are environmental legal agencies. They will monitor your environmental compliances. If any violation, any non-compliances, they will take actions. So what are the agencies? MEWA, that is Ministry of Environmental, Water, Agriculture. Then SHASHO, Saudi Standards Metrology and Quality Organization. Then NCFC, National Center for Environmental Compliances. The Royal Commission for Jubail and Yanbu. So these are the environmental agencies. They will come and they will ask reports. They will watch these things. Whether any environmental deviation, they will take the legal actions. Okay, what will be the key components of environmental compliances? What are the key components? That is the question. Number one key component, environmental impact assessment. That is EIA. Before starting the projects itself, you must have an environmental impact assessments. When you have to see what kind of industry is coming, whether oil and gas industry, manufacturing industry, or any kind of service industry. So when it's come for the industry, manufacturing industry and oil and gas, chemical industry, you must have a forecast. How much quantity of wastewater, hazardous water, noise, soil, land, air. So these all the things you have to forecast. What will be the damage in case of this industry coming to this area? What will be the damage? That you have to predict. How much waste to be generated? How much waste to be generated? In which how much the domestic waste? How much e-waste? How much quantity of hazardous liquid waste and solid waste? Noise means what will be the noise standards, noise levels. Then air means what are the gases are found and what are their levels. So these all the things are mentioned in the EIA report, and you have to give a plan to the Ministry of Environment saying that based on that EIA report, these are the parameters of soil, land, water, wastewater, waste, hazardous waste, and you can have all these things, noise. So these all the levels. What will be the when it's operation? What will be the level? When in the construction, what will be the level? Then what will be your control measures? These things all mentioned in the EIA report. That EIA report you have to submit to the Ministry of Environment. So that is the first part, EIA report. Then air emissions. Air emissions. So to controlling the emissions. Then air quality management to control the emissions. Water and wastewater to treat the water. And then waste management and the hazardous waste management, and then finally hazardous material, how you are going to safely handling. So these are the key components of the environmental compliances. So you must have a EIA report, you must have air emissions, particulate matter 5, particulate matter 10, particulate matter 20, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide. In case oil and gas means hydrogen sulfide. So what are the gases is there? How you are going to control? What are the particulate matter size is there? How you are going to control that? Then water and wastewater. So what will be your, how you are going to consume the water? How you are going to drain the water? Normal domestic water means how you are going to drain. Then wastewater means how you are disposing. Whether the large quantity you are treating and you are sending to the garden, or if the hazardous wastewater means you have to hire the, either you have to treat within the company premises, otherwise smaller quantity means every month you have to collect the hazardous wastewater in a separate tanks, HDPE tanks, and then every month you have to send this water to the environmentally disposing companies, which is approved by the Ministry of Environmental. So the Ministry of Environmental approved agencies are there. That agencies you have to make an agreement and make every month you have to send it to that water to that environmental company. They will treat and dispose it as per the ministry standards. For that you have to pay for them. Then this environmental company will give a receipt for you. This receipt you can keep it for the legal references. Okay, then hazardous materials also same. whatever batteries, e-waste or any the waste chemicals, oil spillage waste. So these all called as a hazardous waste. This hazardous solid waste also you can keep it in a separate place, just pack it, label it, and then send it to the environmental companies for safe disposal. So before that, you have to check soil standards, water standards, wastewater standards, noise standards. These standards you have to monitor and check it, and you must have these reports. How much quantity of hazardous waste is there? How you are going to dispose? These are questioned. Okay, so here the key components as we discussed, the air emissions, air quality management, water wastewater treatments, and then waste management, hazardous management, then hazardous, here water is there, here hazardous material is there. So the key components it starts from the EAA, it ends with the hazardous material. So that is the components of environmental compliances. Okay, what will be the non-compliance of these consequences? So when they are not following these environmental compliances, what will be your impact? The non-compliance consequences. Number one, fine and penalty from the ministry. If they are not following the environmental rules and regulations, there will be a fine and penalty. Then legal action, there will be a big legal action against the company. Then they have a project shutdown. If the environmental rules and regulation not properly followed, then the entire project will be shut down. Means stop the work. So environmental damage also will occur. If the environmental compliance is not followed, there will be a non-compliances made the environmental damage to that area, that project area. So these are the non-compliances impact. When following the environmental rules and regulation, you can have a reputation and then sustainable growth, you have a reduced pollution. But the non-compliance and consequences, what will be? Fine, penalty, reputation damage, production shutdown, then environmental damage. That will be the non-compliance. Then environmental compliance and non-compliance, you need to differentiate these two. Okay. So we have seen the regulatory agencies and the key components of environmental compliances. Then third part is HSE officer responsibilities in this. So what will be the HSE officer responsibility? Not only HSE officer, safety officer, safety manager, HSE officer, sustainability officer, then the environmental officer or environmental engineer, everyone has the responsibility. There are a lot of job opportunities. When you do this environmental part, you can lot of environmental job opportunities. And also nowadays, the HSE, EHSE, QHSE, it means the health and safety, environment, quality integrated. So integrated means you have to definitely learn the environmental part. So that's why now we are talking about the HSE officer. It's not just only HSE officer, the safety officers, quality officers, everyone, they have to do the environmental roles also. See, because it's all integrated. Okay, what will be the HSE officer or safety officer responsibility in this? Conducting the inspections. Conducting the inspection not only not only for safety, but also the environment is important. When you are going for inspection, you have to check noise levels. You have to check air stock monitoring. You have to check water. You have to check oil spillage. You have to check the environmental more parts you have to check. So that's why the HSE and safety officers always conduct an inspection about the environment part. Then dispose water properly. So you are the person, you have to make sure the hazardous waste properly disposed and kept receipt for references. You are the person, you have to properly dispose water and wastewater, and this one you have to make sure in case any violation from your side, you have to make sure there should not be any violation. You have to give your people in a proper guidance for preventing the environmental damage and preventing the legal causes. Okay, so dispose water properly, then monitor air noise regularly and properly. So the air stock monitoring is there for every industries. So you have to check every day what will be the sulfur dioxide, what will be the carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, nitrous oxides, and particulate matters, whether within reference level or whether it's exceeding the reference levels. If the exceeding the reference levels, you have to tell them operation department the levels are going up, you have to change some operations or stop the operation temporarily. So you have to give the instruction to the operation department when it's the air and the noise level also. The industrial noise standard limit is 80 decibel. If the level go to 80 decibel above, definitely it's a legally, it's a punishable, it's a legally offensive. So in that case, what you have to do, you have to tell the concerned operation department the noise level going above 80 decibel, so make some changes and reduce it as reasonable, as practical, as minimum. So that kind of things you have to instruct to the operation department. If it's a noise and air level goes above the reference level, report your standards, air quality monitoring also, or you have air monitoring, wastewater monitoring, and then hazardous material monitoring, and then you have what we can say noise monitoring. These all the reports you have to submit to the environmental ministry. Whether any deviation, you have to, you should not allow them deviate from the reference level to abnormal level. Always maintain within the reference level. There is a standard reference given to the ministry. What will be the noise level? What will be the air emission level? What will be the water, wastewater, treated water disposed level? And then these all the things you have to make sure everything within control, monitor and make it proper environmental regulation follows, and give the report to the environmental ministry regularly. So that is the HSE and safety officers the prime and most duty. Okay, so here when you all following this one, the main thing is always monitoring, reporting air, water, land, soil, noise, and waste managements, hazardous waste, liquid waste, solid waste, hazardous waste. These things you have to regularly monitor, update, and you have to give the report to the concerned agencies. Being a safety officer, safety department or HSE department, they have to monitor all these things and give the report to the concerned ministry for following the legality. So this is the major part when it's come to the HSE. So wherever the HSE you are following nowadays, the environmental is one of the major areas. The safety officers, HSE officers, EHS officers, sustainability officers, the climate change officers, ESG officers, ESG engineers, environmental officers, environmental engineers, this all come for this one. They must know this one because the legal part is more. When a safety department is there, the safety side, health and safety department, they look into. But when it's to the environment, the environmental ministry will take the serious legal actions if the company is violating the environmental rules and regulations. So the environmental compliance Saudi Arabia is very strict in that these are the agencies you have to regularly update your air monitoring, water monitoring, soil monitoring, then hazardous and waste management, waste materials details, noise details, and then overall the environmental rules and regulation, how you are following, how you are maintaining the reference level, not deviating the environment. So you have to regularly give the report to these agencies. When you are keeping on regularly giving the report to these agencies, they will have a good idea about the company, and you preserve your company's reputation, and you are not damaging your environment, and you easily pass the environmental test. Otherwise, they can stop anytime your project. So make sure you are following the key components of the environmental compliances. When you are not following, there will be a non-compliances consequences of fine, penalty, legal action, then everything will occur. So those who are watching, the HSE officer, safety officer, EAG officer, everyone, you must know the environmental compliances of Saudi Arabia. So the agencies, this one, the key components they will see from the EIA report. The EIA report itself, you mentioned what are the pollutions and how you are going to contain that pollution, how you are going to control these pollutions. In that report itself, you elaborate and you already submit to these agencies. Based on these reports, you have to submit the air, water, land, soil, and waste management. These all the reports you have to submit. Especially the air, noise is definitely they are strict in that. Air and noise levels, continuous monitoring and reporting, and also every month how much quantity the waste generated, and then how you are disposing that receipts, how much liquid waste, water, how you are treating, how you are disposing. In case hazardous waste means how you are generating, how you are disposing the receipt, that one. Then waste, hazardous water also the same thing. So these all the detail you must have. This should be properly monitored and reported to the ministry. When you are properly reporting and you are following the standards and following the reference level as per the ministry, there is no issues for that project. So you can easily pass the environmental compliances. So those who are watching this environmental compliances, thanks for watching. Tomorrow also we have a live session of 3 o'clock, the leadership skills of safety supervisors. Tomorrow 3 p.m. leadership skills of safety supervisors. We will see it tomorrow. Those who are joined newly, subscribe our HSE Mindset channel, like it, share it, and support this channel. I hope you enjoyed all these brief sessions. So there are a lot of environmental topics available in video sections and live sessions. Go it, you'll get more information about the HSE and especially environmental side. So you can get it that one. You keep on watch and support the HSE Mindset channel. Thanks for watching. We will meet tomorrow 3 p.m. Thank you.